This is Star Trek Night on BBC2. Highly logical.
Make it so.
Now some more eulogies from the great and the good. The bad boy of contemporary art, Damien Hirst, and TV's Mr. Americana, Jonathan Ross.
My earliest memories of Star Trek are sitting expectantly waiting for it. There was this terrible sort of period of drought on television immediately when children's TV ended, up until about 7:30 or something, when good shows would start again, and you had like Nationwide or all these kind of programmes, and the news, of course, no one wanted to watch. And then you knew it was coming, and you'd see the BBC1, the old-fashioned globe spinning, and you'd hear the music, that sort of high-pitched wail, coming in, and you thought, Star Trek, time to relax, time to enjoy myself. I remember seeing that opening shot of the spaceship every week and just thinking, this is incredible. You know, how do they do that? It's, I think, one of the best design shows ever on TV because it was sort of its time and yet outside of its time. I mean, they didn't do the usual futuristic thing where everything has sort of Velcro. If you look at the Space 1999 or UFO, which are both kind of fun series, there's something about that look at the future which was naff the minute they did it. I mean, Star Trek was completely original. It was completely different to anything else that had been before. Chekhov and Scotty and all those guys, there was something about them.
You'll not be using the warp drive? All the way on impulse? That'll take a great deal of time.
You in a hurry, Mr. Scott?
No.
It was simple, and yet it was just complex enough for you not to get bored. It was exciting, but it wasn't scary at any time. It was dramatic without being really sort of challenging.
Security, Spock here. Status of your landing party?
Ready and standing by, sir.
Have them meet me in the transporter room after the captain has beamed down.
Possibly one of the masterstrokes of Star Trek was the fact that they had an alien on board. And he was an alien who didn't look too ridiculous. But the fact that he was sort of humanoid and yet had the cool ears, the slightly bluish tint to his skin, and of course, the Vulcan death grip. I mean, all those great ideas, the mind meld, the Vulcan death grip. I had almost a permanently sore shoulder from kids at school giving me the Vulcan death grip. We all went around all day giving each other the Vulcan death grip until, of course, David Carradine's TV series Kung Fu came on, and then we all started going around lifting up dustbins and pretending that we were branding ourselves with the mark of Tai Chi or whatever it was. And, of course, it was fun to look at. I mean, the colours were great. I mean, I think it was probably one of the first colour TV shows I can remember watching. When we finally got a colour TV, the different colour shirts, the fantastic planet backdrops, just seeing it explode on your screen.
Would you mind being careful where you throw your rocks, Mr. Spock?
Obviously, highly unstable, Captain.
The shirts being a giveaway, of course, because fans of the show know that when they beam down to any planet, if there are 2 or 3 people behind Kirk or behind Spock or behind Dr. Bones, they, of course, will be killed very, very soon. If you don't know the characters who get beamed down, they'll be wearing a red shirt and they will die almost immediately. And there'll be very little sadness from the other guys because they probably didn't know either. Part of the appeal was the fact that there's alien life out there which is basically almost all humanoid, and we can, you know, chat to and occasionally fight and occasionally get on with. But the idea of sex with aliens, which didn't really occur to me until after Star Trek, but at the time I knew that you could maybe have an alien girlfriend. And the idea that you could have a girlfriend who had maybe yellow skin and purple hair, or blue skin and green hair, or was just blonde but wore a fantastic Go-Go's dancer's outfit. I mean, that's what I loved about the women in Star Trek. They're all dressed like they'd just come from either a strip joint or a go-go dancing club. The hair teased up, big fake eyelashes. Aliens are obviously big on fake eyelashes, and they'd all fall for Kirk.
Who are you?
Captain, there's one thing you can teach me.
I think I knew I loved you from the moment I first saw you.
What's the matter, Andrea? Confused.
For many years, I did affect a slightly boyish Kirk quiff. in the hope that I would finally meet someone from Alpha Centauri who'd fall for me, but still hasn't happened.
No, you mustn't stop me. He's my lover, and I have to kill him.
I always watched it. I remember getting the TV and putting it on the sofa and turning it into a weird channel and then getting a sheet of wallpaper across the sofa and drawing all dials on it and putting tissue paper over the TV so it looked like some kind of radar screen. I'm walking around like this.
Live long and prosper.
I talked to a lot of people who really like the old Star Trek with Kirk, and they can't stand the new one, but I'm completely a Next Generation fan. And I think that people don't like the idea of it because they're kind of old-fashioned, which is quite funny for an idea of a program about their future. But I like Picard. I like the way he says mad when something goes wrong.
Merde. Shields up.
I mean, the idea of having this bald French guy flying around the universe for the Federation is pretty weird. Definitely my favourite aliens are the Borg. So the Borg are spooky. I think the Borg are basically like the $6 million man, but on the outside. Arnold Schwarzenegger meets Goebbels. I mean, you know, they've got the whole gear on, half robots, half human. The mad eye coming out, staring at you. One eye patch. And then they've got an arm like a Gatling gun, but a little bit more complicated, that swivels. Oh yeah, the Borg have got a fantastic ship, which is just a cube, a massive cube. And in a way, I don't know, I mean, there's something really Nazi about that. I mean, you know, all that kind of fascist architecture. I lived in Berlin for a year, and that fascist architecture they've got over there is, you know, completely... I mean, I can imagine the Borg playing Wagner as they come loom up over the side of a planet. I mean, they're like termites, basically. They just exist as a whole mass. But they feed off other life forms. They assimilate other life forms in order to further themselves at the expense of other life forms. And other life forms are irrelevant because all that they're interested in is expanding and furthering the Borg. And that's their job in life. So if you shoot them with a handgun, they pretty quickly work out that and can resist it. So anything you throw at them, they can understand and overwhelm.
It's no use. They've already adapted to the new frequencies.
Bless them. It's just that one bit that I like, which is fantastic, where Picard tries to reason with the Borg and says, you'll never do this, it won't work, you can't take over humans, you can't assimilate humans, because, you know, we're into freedom, and he says freedom's irrelevant. And he says, but we will resist you until, you know, we would rather die than be assimilated. And the Borg say death is irrelevant.
My culture is based on freedom and self-determination.
Freedom is irrelevant. Self-determination is irrelevant. You must comply.
We would rather die.
Death is irrelevant.
I mean, death is so relevant to everything that humans believe in. So the fact to suddenly come up against a life form where it is irrelevant is, you know, you just can't reason with them. And it's a kind of a full stop for all that morality with Picard. Everything the Federation believe in comes into question when they're faced with the Borg.
I am Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Jean-Luc Picard, captain of the Starship Enterprise, registry NCC 1701D. You will lower your shields and prepare to transport yourself aboard our vessel. If you do not cooperate, we will destroy your ship.
They're kind of like the nouveau Nazis of the universe. Life is irrelevant to them too, I suppose. I mean, you've got to admire the Borg. Heil Borg.
Your archaic cultures are authority-driven. To facilitate our introduction into your societies, it has been decided that a human voice will speak for us in all communications. You have been chosen to be that voice.